Hello and welcome in to Views from the Sidelines. I'm your host, Joey Tysick, with my partner, Malik Hill. I don't even know what day it is. I actually do. It's July 1st. I don't think I think our last show was probably in March.
Feels like years ago.
There's been an issue around the globe that's caused us to not be able to convene for a while, but now we're back. There's too much sports to talk about because of so much has happened since we've been gone, even though sports are not even playing right now. So I don't even know where to begin, but we're going to begin where we left off last time, which is the NFL draft. I don't know if people remember that happened this year or not.
we were supposed to do a little mock draft,
but that happened.
We were supposed to do some previews.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then pandemics and stuff.
Things happened.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody knows about them or not, but we're just going to avoid that topic only a little bit. Malik, how have you been during this whole ordeal?
Man, I've missed sports so much. There's just been I've watched so many classic games on NBA TV and ESPNU, and I just watch. I'm so happy The Last Dance was there for just it gave us something. It gave us something for a certain amount of weeks.
We could do a whole episode on The Last Dance.
We should probably do it. Oh yeah, I forgot. We should probably do an episode on
everybody.
The Last Dance.
We're still trying to plan out what our shows are going to be going forward.
Getting back in the role of things.
Trying to catch up.
Yeah, even though the Pistons are a joke, it's good to hear that theme again coming into the show.
Well, and I got to watch some of the 2004 championship, a little bit of the Bad Boys games that were on TV.
I watched a lot of 04 Pistons highlights too.
You can reminisce about the good Pistons.
I also watched a video a few days ago about how that when that team fell apart over the years, the Pistons got nothing back basically. Yeah. So yeah, good times and the times we're in right now.
It's our good friend Chris's favorite era somehow.
Sad boy era.
That's another kid we got to talk about. Anyway.
Oh yeah, got to get him on soon.
Yeah, basically the last time when we even had the show, we don't remember exactly when. It was probably early March. We were getting geared up for the NFL draft, starting to talk about stuff like that. Well, that happened. And the NFL draft, as Lions fan, is always a scary night.
It was interesting. And the draft itself was an experience.
It was. And leading up to the draft, there was a lot of questions what the Lions were going to do. Were they going to actually take Tua Tagovailoa? Were they going to just go with the safe Jeff Okudah? Were they going to go with kind of the splash pick of Isaiah Simmons, or the very, very boring, disappointing Derek Brown, in my opinion? I didn't want that at all.
He's probably still going to be a good player.
Well, good old Lions went safe.
And it was actually one of the better drafts they've had in a while. At the end of it, everybody looked up and was like, "Yeah, that was actually pretty good."
As hard as that is to say, sometimes yes. I think a lot of people were very happy with the draft. Yeah. They did well. Whether or not you liked the Jeff Okudah pick, who they did pick at third, I'll reveal that now if you haven't seen it.
It should be a safe pick. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, it should be a safe pick. They let go of Darius Slay, which was a hard thing for a lot of Lions fans.
A ridiculous thing.
Yeah.
A very ridiculous thing.
That's another topic in itself of the Lions' free agency period.
Along with Quandre Diggs, but yes.
Yeah, and some other people. But overall, they did a good job. They took Jeff Okudah, their third overall pick, probably a safe pick. It's a little scary to take a cornerback that high.
Yeah.
But I think his resume...
Major boom or bust.
Yeah, and it was definitely a position of need. I think when they got in the second round, though...
Their second round pick is once they made that pick, I realized that this could go better than I think.
Maybe they...
Because I was expecting them to do something ridiculous.
Yeah. No, I agree. And with their second round pick, they went with DeAndre Swift, which is kind of what me and Malik had hoped that they would do. And even if it wasn't DeAndre Swift, I just wanted a running back.
Exactly. I can't remember what running back I wanted them to have instead. There was another guy I was hoping they went for, but when they took DeAndre Swift, first of all, I was surprised he dropped that far.
Did you want Hilaire?
I don't think I can't even remember.
Or J.K. Dobbins?
I may have to bring it. I think it was Dobbins. I thought he was the best back in the draft, and I think it could still end up being that way. But once no running back went in the first round, that was a surprise. Even though this running back class isn't like anything legendary or great, still really good guys.
Yeah, they're really good. Really
Once
solid.
Swift was there, I was like, the Lions, this is the Lions. They're probably going to mess this up.
Yeah.
And then they didn't mess it up.
Hopefully they don't take an offensive lineman right now. There's other ones down the line that they could take, which they ended up taking, which I think they did. I think they did a really solid job. What draft pick really surprised you? Let's just start with the Lions. Which one surprised you the most, do you think?
I think, well, DeAndre Swift, honestly, that one might have surprised me the most because usually once the Lions get to the second and third round, they make odd picks that they either get an offensive lineman that it seems like they're going to be good and then they flame out, or they get a guy when did they take the linebacker from Hawaii last year? Was that in the second or third round? I swear I thought it was the second round.
It might have been.
Because it was a random who is this pick?
Yeah.
And yeah.
It turned out solid or okay, but
we'll see how that goes.
For that pick, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, the fact that they actually made a pick that can help them out immediately with Kerryon Johnson looking like he might have an unhealthy path and he might not have a lot of years left. I mean, hopefully it's a chance he gets healthy again, but usually when guys show being this unhealthy earlier in their career, it goes downhill fast. So yeah, them getting a guy that can produce immediately, a guy that can help Stafford. He's a solid blocker, really good hands out of the backfield, and if you hand him the ball up the middle or on the outside, he can be a home run hitter and he can get tough yards. So
yeah,
I really like that pick. And then I think the Aquara pick in the third round was a steal.
That's the one that I was going to bring up.
Yeah.
That's the one that actually surprised me the most too, because
high IQ pick.
This guy could have been so much higher in the draft. Yeah, he's had some injuries and stuff and some off-field issues and little things like that here and there, but I think that's a great pick.
Yeah.
Obviously it might not work out. There's a possibility that it couldn't work out, but I feel like if it works out,
he should be able to produce from the start.
Yeah.
He
really
can bring
good.
some pass rush.
Yeah. And now, we've had 2 Aquaras on the team. I think that's fun. Again, and then in a couple picks later, they picked Jonah Jackson, which I think is a great pickup for an offensive lineman.
It's a good value because of their history with offensive linemen in the past few years. Even though the kid from Arkansas, what's his name? The guy they drafted last year.
I'll tell you, I don't remember anything.
He had a really good year, even though people were upset because they took him that high.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they've had sketchy history drafting offensive linemen. So when they took him, I was like, they need offensive line help like always, but we'll see how this guy works out because sometimes it hits and a lot of times it doesn't.
Yeah, but at the same time, I just think it was a quality pick, and I think a lot of people were happy with going with that offensive lineman coming out of Ohio State, being just a big body. I think it was a good pick.
I think the only pick I didn't like was Huntley.
Yeah,
honestly, I think at best he's a return guy,
right?
And
he's 5'9".
He's on a good day,
5'8".
he might be 5'8".
Let's see what.
And he might be 175 pounds. I mean, he's electric with the ball in his hands. But how many guys have you seen that translate to the NFL with that kind of body type? If you're 5'8", you have to be stocky like Darren Sproles or something like that.
5'8", 190. They have him listed up.
That's generous. That is very generous. I think he might be 175. If he's 180, that's good starting coming into the NFL. But yeah, besides being a return man, which they already have a high level return man, so I don't see why they needed this. But yeah, who knows? But I think I also like the Quintez Cephas pick a lot.
You do. I was gonna say that's the one that to me is a little bit odd.
It's a bit of a reach, but getting him in the fifth round, I think is good value. He was really productive at Wisconsin. He's not a speed guy. He's a pure possession guy, but he made big plays when he had to in one of the toughest conferences in America on a week-to-week basis. Great hands, really good route runner. I think in terms of third or fourth receivers, I think that's a really good pick in the fifth round.
Was he the one that lit up Michigan? The one game?
I don't remember a specific receiver lighting up Michigan. Mm-hmm. I remember Jonathan Taylor crushing them and just Wisconsin getting everything they wanted.
I just think in that game, I feel like I remember hearing his name.
I think he scored a touchdown.
But I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah. He could also be a guy that doesn't make the team. It's possible.
Yeah.
But I think he's talented enough as just with pure receiver skill to make the roster and make plays when he has to. I think he could be impactful.
Yeah. Okay, moving on from the Lions. Big draft. Joe Burrow goes overall number 1. Cincinnati
no
Bengals.
There. Yeah.
Some people tried to say that it was going to be they could do something weird. I don't think anybody really believed it or bought into it. Chase Young going number 2 overall, also a pretty safe bet that was going to happen unless somebody tried to make a big move. Also a little bit disappointing for Lions fans. You just hoped for once maybe the other team was going to mess up and you would get gifted. But yeah, Chase Young goes up number 2. And then following the Lions, a lot of people started wondering, well, who's going to take Tua if the Lions didn't take him? They thought maybe the Giants were going to. Giants said no, that we're sticking to Danny Dimes.
Well, I'm not surprised they're sticking with Danny Dimes. He surprised in a major positive way in that rookie year. So you got to give him some time.
Yeah, and they have probably more needs than the Lions do, to be honest. The Giants are in a lot of trouble. And then at number 5, Miami, they got Tua.
They got their guy.
The big name of the draft, the one that everybody was kind of concerned about, confused where he was going to go because of all his injury history and whether he's healthy or not. And he got his wish. He's going to the warm state of Miami. He doesn't have to play with the Lions. What do you think about this pick? Do you think it was a good pick for
I think
the Dolphins?
It was a pick they had to make because we know what Fitzmagic is. We all love Fitzmagic. We all love what he does for 3 or 4 game spans. But he's only good for a 3, 4, 5 game span. And then I feel so bad for Josh Rosen because his career really hasn't even started.
Yeah.
He was thrown into a horrible situation and then was thrown into another one. And they said, show us what you got.
Yeah.
And he's tried. He showed signs of being a really good quarterback. But when you don't have consistent pass catchers, you don't have O-lines, and you get beat up, it's just sad. He's about to be the third string guy on this team. I mean, he's going to stay in the league. He might end up being a career backup. I hope he gets another chance to start. But it sucks for him. But, yeah, I think they needed to take Tua. They need a guy like this to give them some juice. And although I think they shouldn't play him for most of the year, you start either Fitzpatrick or Rosen for a lot of the year. Maybe play Tua later on, but I think you just continue to let him heal, let him learn the system, and see what happens because 100% healthy, I think this guy is like the second coming of Drew Brees. Accuracy, touch, feel for the game. He's got all of it, like A+. It's all there, every single bit of it.
Yeah. Then following after Tua, Justin Herbert went 6 overall to the Chargers, another quarterback off the board.
We've talked about this in the meantime of not having the podcast. Not a big fan of this one. I understand the Chargers like Tyrod Taylor. He's been a good guy, good piece to have for like a season for many teams. He got the Bills to the playoffs for the first time in like 15 years.
Yeah.
Good quarterback, but I really think they should have swung for Cam Newton. I think if they got him, they have the all they had to do was get healthy. All their guys were hurt last year that they needed the most. Everybody coming back this year. You've got weapons on the outside and at tight end. I like Austin Eckler. I think Cam would have been the missing piece, but they want to invest in the future for a longer time. So not the biggest fan of Justin Herbert, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
He's got some talent.
And I was more on the end of, I'm okay with this pick. I mean, I feel like the Chargers are just trying to reset. I mean, they just moved, got all this new stuff, new fancy uniforms. I think they're just trying to rebrand.
Speaking of those uniforms.
They were voted the number 1 uniform in the league.
Really?
Mm-hmm. A lot of people like.
I saw nothing but negative comments.
Really?
When I haven't seen many people that liked them, but
I thought they were all right.
Actually, that was the Rams uniforms. That was the Rams uniforms. Yeah,
I don't doubt it.
Falcons
also.
The Chargers are okay. I kind of like what the Falcons look.
Derek Brown went 7th. Thank goodness the Lions didn't take him. There was speculation that the Lions were going to take him.
Panthers went all defense.
Yeah.
And they honestly needed to.
And I think the Cardinals got a big one getting Isaiah Simmons at 8. Their defense is going to be top-notch next year.
Should be.
And it should be, yes. Right.
If everybody's healthy, if everything comes together.
That's a big weapon to have for them. They're kind of on the upswing right now. I think the Cardinals are making
Big
moves. That's another thing we can talk about.
Especially with stealing that receiver from the Texans.
I was going to say, there's so many things that we forget about or not even thinking about.
Yeah.
The Cardinals now have DeAndre Hopkins.
Kyler Murray has weapons at his disposal.
The Houston Texans are an abomination of a franchise.
Man. Bill O'Brien?
I can't believe how much they go from a team that is possible to be a Super Bowl contender almost every year to just a dumpster.
Yeah, you give up
fast.
You give up DeAndre Hopkins, and then he tried to save face by signing a few guys that are like, look, these are good weapons. These guys can make plays too.
Sure. Yeah.
Deshaun Watson has to get out of Houston. He has to.
Oh,
he cannot waste his career there.
That's definitely the next big thing that's happening. Is I'm sure Deshaun Watson is going to try to get out of Houston.
Needs to.
Please come to Detroit.
Well wishes, but yeah. You know how that's gonna go.
Right. No, he'll probably get to go to New Orleans when Drew Brees retires, and it'll be.
But they're investing in Jameis. Yeah.
Jameis is my boy, but I don't know. I don't know if you can invest in
And Taysom's trying to convince everybody he's a franchise quarterback, which is
just be that cool weapon guy.
Exactly. Be what you are, Taysom. You'll get paid doing that.
Yeah. Another big thing from this draft was the amount of wide receiver talent.
Ridiculously deep class.
Henry Ruggs went number 12 to the Raiders.
Surprised that he went off first. That he was the first receiver taken.
The speedy guy. Jerry Jeudy, the quote-unquote top wide receiver, went 15 to Denver.
Love that pick.
That's big for them.
Along with them getting guy from Penn State, the kid KJ Hamler.
Oh yeah.
I loved the picks they made at receiver.
Yeah.
They're giving Drew Lock a bunch of weapons.
Yep. And they have Cortland Sutton coming into his own.
Yep.
Looked really good last year. And then 17, CeeDee Lamb taken.
I really didn't want him to go to
the Cowboys.
I really didn't want him to go to the Cowboys, but it is what it is. Dak Prescott has no excuse now.
Yeah, I mean, they needed something to go alongside those weapons, and I think CD it just makes their offense even better. And I think this is an okay pick. Kind of the big surprise one that had people a little confused, which they had to kind of take a pick, was the Eagles taking Jalen Reagor.
Yeah, that was
of TCU at 21.
Yeah, them not taking Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
That
and then the Vikings just laughing all the way to the bank, basically.
There were a lot of Eagles fans that were just happy the Eagles took a wide receiver.
Right.
And Jalen Reagor is very talented. He's fast. He's kind of like a poor man's Deshaun Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
In the return game and in the passing game. He's a deep threat. He can make plays with the ball in his hands. He could be good, but yeah, when Justin Jefferson is there.
Yeah. And a lot of people are saying that, Justin Jefferson's numbers are increased because of Joe Burrow. Yes, they are a little bit, and he played for LSU, so they had
Joe Burrow's numbers were increased because of his receiving core.
Right. So
it goes both ways.
I don't know where people were coming with that logic. Just having the big body of Justin Jefferson, and a lot of people were thinking that his speed, he wasn't as fast as people thought he was.
His game speed honestly isn't as fast as his 40 was.
Yeah.
Which was, I think it was like a 4.46 or something like that.
Yeah, he ran a really good 40.
Yeah, he did what he had to do. To get picked that high, he needed to run a 40 that high. But yeah, it really won't matter. He's fast enough. His receiver skill is really what's going to get the job done. It's going to be a kind of weird fit with him and Thielen because they're somewhat like the same type of receiver. But I'm sure they'll make it work.
Yeah. A couple of other notables of the first round, just for Malik's sake. Number 24 overall, Cesar Ruiz, taken from Michigan.
Really unexpected.
I
didn't think he'd go that high.
I didn't either.
And you see the rest of the Michigan guys were taken in rounds 4 and lower.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so
Saints needed a offensive lineman badly apparently, and
that was an interesting one. Jordan
Good
Love.
for Caesar.
This one was highly debatable.
Most controversial pick of the draft by far.
Number 26 overall, Jordan Love, who could have gone anywhere in the first round, to be honest. A lot of people had him all the way in the top 10 at some point.
People either loved him or hated him, to be honest.
and he went to the Packers.
Yeah, they are literally betting their future on this.
Yeah.
First season under a new regime, new head coach, make it to the NFC Championship. Great job. Now go get some receivers. Nah, we're just gonna try to push Aaron Rodgers out of the door as quick as we can, and hopefully this Utah State guy can get us there.
To be fair,
they're putting their entire future as a coaching staff on Jordan Love, which is something else.
But to be fair, I do think they overperformed this past season, making it to the championship game.
They have such a good foundation, and if you have Aaron Rodgers, no matter what his receiving core is going to look like, he's going to get something out of what he has.
And at the end of the day,
their defense surprised as well as they were.
And at the end of the day, they got the win. So I'm upset about it that they were kind of overhyped, but they won. They kept winning.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones had a really good year. Whatever.
Also weird that they took another running back with Aaron Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
Packers, taking AJ Dillon, which is the complete opposite of what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's just
Packers,
we're gonna have to see what the Packers are doing.
They're really trying to recreate the Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers situation with Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love now. It's just gonna happen again. I don't know. It's weird.
Very.
Although if you look deep down, Aaron Rodgers has been declining. I don't think it's terrible.
Only slightly year to year. He's still, I think he was 28 touchdowns to 4 picks.
Yeah.
Which is okay. He didn't throw over 30 touchdowns. His completion rating wasn't incredible. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is Aaron Rodgers. He's still making magic. And he found some gems in that receiving core that are going to stick around, like Allen Lazard.
Yeah.
So, yeah, even though they didn't take a receiver, which if I was a Packers fan, I'd still be upset about it. They have some high hopes in Devin Funchess, apparently.
Yeah. Another surprise pick for me, which actually ended up working out in the Lions' favor, was the last pick of the first round. Kansas City.
The best pick.
A lot of people thought
maybe the best pick of the first round.
A lot of people were pretty sure they were going to try to take a running back of some sort. And I wanted DeAndre Swift for the Lions, so I was afraid that the Chiefs might take him. They went with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, which fits their offense perfectly once you start to think about it.
A ridiculously great fit. I think he could start over the guy they have right now. His name is escaping me because he's kind of that forgettable to me, although, sorry, he had a okay season. I don't think any of those running backs.
Damian Williams.
Yeah, I don't think any of them rushed for over 500 yards.
No, they were all trash.
But yeah, Damian Williams has some okay ability. He's a really good backup.
Yeah,
and Clyde, he can step in and start right now.
He's the one that we were kind of talking about. He's 5'7", but he's also 207 pounds.
Exactly.
So he's a little bit thicker, but the dude's fast too.
He's fast and he has good game speed.
He's agile, I guess.
Yes.
He's more
speed
quickness.
Isn't the thing for him. His elusiveness.
Yeah.
He has such a ridiculous mix of elusiveness and power when he runs.
Yeah.
His vision is amazing, and it is a good thing. He can break away from defenses once he gets past the secondary. So he pretty much has it all in that 5'7" size. And yeah, the Chiefs just add another weapon and try to build onto a dynasty.
Yep.
Try to build a dynasty.
Yeah. Then in the second round, a couple more wide receivers: T. Higgins, Michael Pittman Jr.
T. Higgins is one of my favorite picks of the draft.
Yeah, and
I love how they had it. They gave him a legit weapon from the start.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow.
Well, I mean, I don't want to speculate, and I don't want to get too hyped because I like the player a lot. But it's looking like AJ Green is on path to be healthy. So if Joe Burrow has a healthy AJ Green, T. Higgins coming in.
John Ross had a good year last year.
John Ross,
still got Tyler Boyd.
Those are weapens. Those are a lot of weapons.
Serious weapons, yeah.
For a quarterback.
If only Tyler Eifert could stay healthy, because when he was healthy, he was legit. And he's got Joe Mixon, too.
Yeah, we talked about the Lions taking DeAndre Swift. The other running back, Jonathan Taylor, that a lot of people were curious about where he would go. He's going to the
really
Colts.
Good pick for them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was good for them. Their running backs, they've done a running back by committee a lot.
Marlon Mack is a really good back.
Yes,
yeah,
but
adding Jonathan Taylor is just going to make them even stronger.
Marlon Mack with his injury concern, though, a little bit last year. Yeah. Then they ran Naheem Hines.
Who's really like a scat back. I
can't remember who their other running back is that they ran when Marlon Mack went out. They did a mix of Naheem Hines and somebody
It
else.
was a guy from Ole Miss. I can't remember his name.
Mhm.
But yeah.
So now if they get Jonathan Taylor into that mix, just a big burly back that's just going to run up the middle, run people over, I think that was another solid pick for them. You brought up the KJ Hamler for Denver, which I think also is a solid pick. Again, like we said, getting their young quarterback some weapons.
Other running back picks. I love the Cam Akers pick for the LA Rams. Losing Todd Gurley.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think Cam Akers could come in and start because he's honestly, when it comes to pure like running back football talent, I think Cam Akers might be at the top of the running backs in this draft. Like his talent is ridiculous. His body is crazy. His speed is crazy. He has all the ability. And I also liked J.K. Dobbins, obviously. Even though they have like big running back room already. But adding J.K. Dobbins can't hurt.
But to be fair,
because Mark Ingram probably won't be there for a long time.
I was going to say, I think Mark Ingram is kind of on his way down. He had a really good season last year. They also have some other young guys, Gus Edwards and things like that. But I think J.K. Dobbins could be like a steal for them.
Exactly.
Because
also Gus Edwards also isn't going to be your guy when it comes down to it.
He had plenty of reps to kind of show off his skill, and he never looked like he could be that guy.
He's more of like a goal line guy.
Mm-hmm. So if you can add J.K. Dobbins to this insane offense that they have, they'll be like, they already are one of the probably the most exciting team to watch in the NFL. That just adds another weapon to them.
Lamar Jackson doesn't even have a top-notch receiver yet.
And they're all very young.
Exactly.
Their whole core on offense is young.
Terrifying.
He doesn't have a number one wide receiver necessarily. Hollywood Brown is...
But yeah.
He's close, but he's not like being like a short, speedy guy.
He's the second coming of Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, that's always hard to...
Which is somewhat of a number one because he's basically just a deep threat.
It's hard to be a go-to guy when you're that height and size. But yeah, J.K. Dobbins I think was a great pick. Another Michigan guy going to the Patriots, Josh Uche.
I don't know what the Patriots just keep drafting Michigan guys.
I know.
It's weird. Last year they get Chase Winovich. Now they take Uche. They're just gonna have a Michigan front seven out of nowhere, and who knows what that's gonna look like.
I mean, again, if anybody's to make Michigan players look better, it's the Patriots.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Another pick I loved because the Jets needed desperately Denzel Mims. They got lucky that he dropped to them because there was talk that Denzel Mims could have went late first, and I wouldn't have been surprised if he did.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a bit of a steal for them because Darnold needs so much help.
Shout out to Chris's team.
Man, I feel bad for them.
See ya, Jamal Adams.
Cam Newton is in New England.
Yeah.
Tua's in Miami.
We should have a debate whether is it better to be a Jets fan or a Lions fan? Right now, I think it's.
I would say it's better to be a Lions fan.
Yeah.
Because there are no expectations with the Lions at all. When they're good, it's a surprise, and when they're bad, it's the Lions.
Right.
Jets fans expect their team to be good every few years.
Yeah. The other one you brought up already, A.J. Dillon going to the Packers out of Boston College.
Yeah.
It's just a weird one. Unsure about it.
Yeah. Any other picks you liked in the last few rounds?
Oh, wait. I wanted to bring up, I almost forgot, the big one in the second round.
Oh.
The Eagles.
Oh, yeah.
Took Jalen Hurts in the second round. A lot of people thought he was going to be, maybe fourth round, possibly third round.
I thought he could have went late first, depending on the team. Like
yeah.
I thought New England could have took a swing.
He was all over the board.
Yeah.
I personally and selfishly wanted him to go to the Lions.
I wouldn't.
And I said that for a while.
I somewhat wouldn't have minded it, but I think they would have messed him up. I don't think they would have formed the correct offense. Yeah. There's no Harbaugh in Detroit. Mm-hmm. Harbaugh took Lamar Jackson and said, "This is what we're going to do. This is the offense now."
Right.
I think they would have made Jalen Hurts play in the shotgun and run a read option every 6 or 7 plays. That would be obvious for defenses.
Mm-hmm.
They would have messed him up completely. So honestly, I'm kind of happy he didn't come here because that probably wouldn't have ended well.
Yeah, and I think honestly, it's an okay pick for the Eagles. I think Carson Wentz he's had his injuries, and people are concerned about that.
Yeah. There are people that really just that are unfair to Carson Wentz, and like the fact that he hasn't won playoff games, or that he doesn't win big games or stuff like that. Before that first big injury, he was going to be the MVP of the league. Who knows if he would have won that Super Bowl? Nobody knows. He comes back the next year. He's still not himself yet. Last year, he dragged the Eagles, dead receiving core corpse, to the playoffs, and then got his head buried into the field and got a concussion.
Yeah,
you can't blame him for that. He's shown the talent. It's all there. I'm not sure what the Eagles are going to do with Jalen Hurts. I don't know if they're going to use him like the Saints do with Taysom Hill. You could, but would that really be using him the right way? I'm sure they're going to have some packages for him coming out of the gate, but it's going to be weird.
I'm trying to look at any other picks that I'm curious about.
I really like in the third round. I liked the Redskins taking Antonio Gibson out of Memphis. He's just like an all-around weapon, running back, wide receiver, return game.
Yeah,
he's a guy that's going to step in and make big plays for the Redskins.
I actually liked Zach Moss for Buffalo.
Oh yeah, really good pick.
Short, stocky running back. I think like he could be a good complement to Devin Singletary.
Really good compliment.
I think Devin Singletary is going to be the guy in Buffalo, but it's always nice to have that other guy to kind of change the pace a little bit.
The Bills low-key have one of my favorite running back cores in the league going into the season. You got old Frank Gore, who's just he's so productive. It doesn't make sense how healthy he is.
Defying all odds.
Exactly.
And age.
You got old Frank Gore, who's still productive. You got name slip me ever. You got Devin Singletary, who was surprisingly productive last year as a rookie. Then you bring in Zach Moss, who could pretty much be like Frank Gore. He's going to learn from one of the best running backs of this generation and probably be productive as a rookie too. So, yeah, I love what they're doing.
Yeah, and then who would have predicted, like at the beginning or maybe the middle of their careers, maybe their primes, that Frank Gore would outlast Adrian Peterson? Or be better than Adrian Peterson.
Who would have predicted
going forward?
Who would have predicted that he would outlast everybody?
Yeah, true.
I mean, the type of running back he was from the start, those type of running backs don't last.
Yeah.
Taking hit after hit, taking runs up the middle, and somehow he's still doing it.
He was a easy top 5 running back in the league for a good while. And then, he hasn't been obviously the most productive dude, but he's been the guy that's
he's
been
top 5 in rushing yards.
He's been the most consistent.
Yeah.
And I don't know. The guy is just crazy. Every time you think like, oh, Frank Gore, man, he retired a couple years ago, and then no, he's playing still.
Just a friendly reminder that his son is a true freshman at Southern Miss this year as a running back. That shows you how insane it is.
He gonna try to play with his son?
Nah.
In the NFL at the same time?
I don't think Frank is gonna play till he's like 43.
I can't imagine. That's probably never happened, right?
No,
Father-son duo in NFL, because the age range for NFL is so hard to pull off.
Shelf life in the NFL doesn't last too long, so yeah, that'll probably never happen.
Do you have any other picks that you wanted to talk about? I think I got I can remember it.
I liked a lot of the receiver picks. I liked how the Raiders emphasized the receiver, even though Ruggs going first was weird. Gruden just wants to be the ridiculous speed demons out there. I really liked Lynn Bowden and Brian Edwards back to back. They're all 3 different types of receivers. Brian Edwards is the big body possession guy that can also make plays with the ball in his hands. You can use Lynn Bowden as a slot receiver, return guy, even like a wildcat quarterback if you want to, because he played quarterback last year at Kentucky and won them a lot of games. So yeah, a lot of diversity there. I like the Ravens taking Devin Duvernay out of Texas, who's just a speed demon. Mm-hmm. Yeah, a guy that can make a lot of plays. Yeah, just really good receiver. Just a ridiculously deep receiver class. Yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to some of the other crazy stuff that happened in the NFL. We kind of touched on a couple of them. DeAndre Hopkins is now with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
Jamal Adams wants out of New York. And, everybody's favorite quarterback,
everybody's
Tom Brady.
Favorite quarterback? Oh, okay. Still not everybody's favorite quarterback.
Yeah, no. Tom Brady has left New England. I don't know if people saw. I'm sure many people saw. Big headlines. New Tom Brady is going to Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay. It's trademarked as now.
Oh God.
Which terrible.
I haven't even seen that.
But hey, he's gonna make money off of it. It is what it is.
My man, 30 for 30, Jameis Winston.
Yes,
out.
The legend himself.
Out, unfortunately. And I don't know. All of a sudden now, Tampa Bay is on top of everybody's
they have the
boards
odds
to go
for
to the Super Bowl.
They have the odds for winning which shows I can't trust them because teams that get that much hype out of the gate, it never really works. But
also the other thing with Tom Brady going to Tampa Bay, out of retirement, Rob Gronkowski also going to Tampa Bay.
This is something, I swear it's been something they've been cooking up for years. Tom, wherever you go, I'll come. And that's the only way I'll come back to football. I'm
sure Rob was sitting there. He's like, if you go to somewhere warm and where I can party, I'll join you.
And Tampa is his spot.
Yeah.
There will be several videos of him at nightclubs during the season.
Yeah.
If the season happens, but during the season.
It's just weird.
Yeah. So it's so much ridiculous hype into them so far.
Because
Tom is breaking rules, practicing with the team.
Yeah. And it's mostly because of their weapons. Like we saw last year.
They had the weapons ready.
Yeah. Chris Godwin and Mike Evans.
OJ Howard.
They're dangerous. And it's incredible.
And their defense got better as the year went on.
Yeah. Their running back play is still up in the air. They have a lot of.
But I think they'll figure it out now.
Yeah. I'm curious to see what they're going to look like behind that offensive line. What Tom Brady's going to look like behind an offensive line that's not New England.
They drafted Tristan Wirfs specifically for the reason of protecting him.
Mm-hmm. So that'll be interesting. Do you think that now Tampa Bay is going to be like one of the top teams in the NFL?
I do expect them to win at least. That division is so up and down because when it comes to the Saints, as long as Drew is the quarterback, they're always going to be good. And Drew is being swept up in a whole bunch of controversy.
A whole nother
not going to. Yeah, it's a whole nother story for another day. The Panthers are starting fresh, so they're out of it for now.
Mm-hmm.
With
the Falcons,
the Falcons are the wild card.
Here, let me flip a coin.
Every 3 years, it's either they're 13-3 or they're 4-12.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan gets beat up 1 year. Next year he's protected. 1 year Julio Jones stats are out of this world. The next year he has less than 6 receiving touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Devontae Freeman just fell off the face of the earth.
Well, now
they signed Todd Gurley. He's back home in Georgia, so who knows what that could do to that offense? Because it's the Falcons. I really want to believe in the Falcons this year because this seems like the time. The clock is back around now. They made it to the Super Bowl, fell off for 2 years. Now it seems like it might be right back around for, hey, the Falcons are 12-4 or they're 13-3. Yeah, it might be that time again. So, yeah, that 3-team race is going to be something. The Tampa Bay shouldn't lose like more than 5 games.
Yeah,
with the way this roster is constructed.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we got to see what it looks like first.
Yeah,
it's going to take a few weeks to make a decision.
All I know is that their television ratings are going to be off the charts.
Oh, ridiculous!
It's going to be crazy.
Yeah. People better get NFL Red Zone.
There was a big question mark of who was going to replace Tom Brady. A lot of people thought that there was a weird chance that it was going to be Jameis Winston, that he would fit in with that system.
Yeah,
that didn't happen.
For a time, I also thought that, and then there was the time of people just accepting
Jason Stidham.
Jarrett, see,
Jarrett Stidham. You know,
you called him Jason.
You know.
Then it is crazy to me how many New England fans were like, you know what, Jarrett Stidham will be our guy, and we will win a Super Bowl.
Why not?
Their confidence is so through the roof. I can't imagine what it's like growing up in Boston over the past 20 years.
Yeah,
seeing all that, but yeah, their confidence is ridiculous.
But there was one big name that was out there that kind of people forgot about. Some people were concerned of why he hadn't been signed to any teams.
I think Jacksonville, honestly.
Yeah.
What happened there? They signed Mike Glennon as a backup, and they're investing in Gardner Minshew. Who showed some signs his first season, but come on, man.
Jacksonville has been in the dumpster for franchise history.
They were Saxonville for one season.
And they got out of it for a minute, and now they're right back in it.
Just like that.
Being terrible.
They got to an AFC championship.
Yeah.
With that quarterback.
They were one of the best defenses in the NFL.
Leonard Fournette as a rookie lit the league up.
Yeah.
One of the biggest one-hit wonders in NFL history, man.
But now, Cam Newton, former NFL MVP, is going to New England. I'm still unsure how I feel about it. I mean, obviously, I think it's better than Jason Stidham. I'm going to keep calling him Jason from this.
You don't got to disrespect Jared Stidham like that.
Sorry.
Come on, man.
Anyway.
He deserves respect.
I think he's a step up from Stidham, but I don't know if Cam Newton's going to be necessarily the answer. Like, I would love for him to have like a revitalization of his career because he's been hurt by injuries and just poor teams. But at the same time, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, New England just wins.
Yes.
Just all the time. So I don't, like, maybe he'll just fit in. My biggest hope is that at least we can see Cam Newton behind a good offensive line.
Yeah.
That's what I'm excited to see. Like,
he got Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
But before that, he had like Jonathan. He actually had some good running games. That was a wrong point. Keep going.
Yeah. No, that's what I always think. Yeah. Like, you think, well,
the receivers
did have
the
some
problem.
Guys, but was he around when Steve Smith was still in Carolina?
Yeah.
Okay.
When his Steve Smith was his primary guy for his first 3 years, I think.
Yeah. Because there was some debate about people saying he's never had a good receiver before.
He's had some. Steve Smith was the one elite guy.
Yeah.
And then Carolina just
Greg
kicked
Olsen,
him to the curb.
Yeah,
Greg Olsen was his best weapon he ever had.
Yeah.
Besides Steve Smith.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm curious to see, like, because some people think that Cam Newton's skills have diminished.
That's not the thing.
I'm not sure.
That's not the problem.
I'm not sure if that's it.
He's been hurt for about 2 years.
Yeah. So that'll be fun to watch. Super interesting.
Yeah. I think he doesn't have to be Superman MVP Cam.
Mm-hmm.
All he has to do is play within that Patriots system, make smart reads. He has to do what Tom Brady has done for the past 2 or 3 years. What won them a Super Bowl 2 years ago against the Rams. Play smart football. Don't turn the ball over. Hit open things when you need to. A lot of that offense is like wide open checkdowns and wide open like 5 to 10 yard routes because they've never had a consistent deep route. But he's been working. There's videos of him that came up today. He's already working out with Mohamed Sanu, which we'll see if he can revitalize what he had a few years ago.
Right.
Julian Edelman had a bad year last year, but he was unhealthy a lot. Yeah, we'll have to see how it shakes out. They still got to figure out that tight end situation, which is still terrible.
Yeah, and they still have N'Keal Harry.
Yeah,
coming up. So
yeah, he has to show the potential that people think he has. But yeah, there are a lot of people that all of a sudden think the Patriots are just going to fall off for some reason.
Yeah,
and not make the playoffs. With Cam Newton, they should still be like an 11-win team.
Yeah, and their defense is still top notch.
Yeah, they've got a deep running back core. You've got Cam Newton now. You have enough guys that can catch the ball and make plays. They made the playoffs last year and the year before that doing it with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And like you said, the defense. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they should still be – the Bills are improving. It's going to be tough to beat them out. They should still be that playoff team they were. So, yeah, it's that 2-team race is going to be really interesting.
Yeah. I was trying to think of any other big moves that teams have made. The only other one that I could really think of off the top of my head is I knew Cleveland got somebody, and I couldn't think of who it was. But now I'm looking at their depth chart. It was Austin Hooper. I think that's a big pickup for them.
A lot of people wanted Cam in Cleveland, which was weird to me.
I felt like, well, I mean, that would have made sense, I think. Baker Mayfield, I think, is rough.
Man.
I'm just saying.
I think we need to base it off of his rookie season. Last year, under Freddie Kitchens,
that's true.
It was horrible. Odell Beckham didn't look good last year.
That's true.
Nobody looked good. Like Nick Chubb was the only person on that offense that really looked good last season.
Yeah.
It was just an all-around problem. I think with real coaching now, I think Baker's going to go back to looking how he looks.
Is there any other teams that you can think of that made a big splash that you wanted to touch on?
Well, honestly,
I can't think of it.
I think we talked about this a few days ago texting. Next year's draft is going to be really weird with the big quarterback names that are going to be in the draft. When honestly, most of the teams either drafted their quarterback of their future in the past 2 seasons, signed a veteran that they're starting, or they have their guy. I think we couldn't think of a single team that needed, outside of Jacksonville, will probably need a quarterback.
Yeah.
Chicago is still going to be a good team, so they're not going to get a high pick. Whether it's Trubisky or Nick Foles, they're still probably going to win 10 games because they're a good team.
Mm-hmm.
Jacksonville is probably the only team I can think of that could get a top 3 pick and will probably need a quarterback.
Yeah.
Every other team has guys that they believe in or have invested in or just drafted.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a really weird thing that I don't know if I've seen that in the NFL before. Every year there's at least like 3-4 teams that need quarterbacks in almost every draft.
Yeah. And that point, I think at that point you'd only see teams that would maybe debate like just getting a new quarterback.
Exactly.
Those would be like maybe the Jets, maybe the Giants. I think the Giants would be one. The Redskins.
I believe in Dwayne Haskins, so
right.
Yeah.
But do they some of these teams that
I think Ron Rivera is going to do a lot for him.
Yeah, I think so too. I think Dwayne Haskins still has a good chance to do something, but those are just teams that are kind of like on the cusp.
Yeah,
even probably Minnesota too, depending on how they play.
It's all gonna. It depends on how the season turns out, honestly, because I'm sure there are some years I'm forgetting where you went into a year where guys had their quarterbacks of the future that they thought were the quarterbacks of the future,
right,
and had their franchise guys and veterans they could trust in. But there always ends up being those 3 or 4 teams that need a quarterback.
I don't think they're going to get up. They're going to do too well. They're not going to have a pick. But like a team like Tampa Bay, they're throwing in an old man in there, then they try to get a young quarterback behind him.
Yeah,
maybe.
they're somewhat expecting him to play for the next 3 years.
Yeah,
which Tom wants to do. He wants to play till he's 45, 46.
Although now that I think about it, the Texans are probably going to need a new quarterback. Or the Raiders.
Do you think Deshaun's going to force a trade?
He might.
Depending on how the season goes, he probably should.
Yeah.
Depending on how the season goes. But I feel like he's going to be stuck there for a minute, and that sucks.
Perhaps.
But yeah, seeing how the quarterback situations form throughout this season with all the quarterback moves teams have made is going to be really interesting.
Yeah.
Because some guys might fall off.
Mm-hmm.
Like Matt Ryan is getting up there in age. He might have another 1 or 2 really good ones left in him, but
yeah, there's a lot of guys that are kind of on the edge. Like, do we start to go away from them? Do we get somebody underneath them?
Exactly.
Yeah, there's a lot of question marks up in there. Well, that's basically all the NFL news that we need to talk about. Even
Raiders
going forward. Yeah,
forgot.
that's what I
Yeah,
was saying. The Raiders
completely forgot it. Yeah, Raiders, and Jacksonville are probably the 2.
Yeah. But we won't have much more NFL news until, whenever the season may start.
Yeah.
Which is all
right now. It's will it happen, won't it happen? Which is happening with most things.
One of the sports that is coming back, the one that kind of we base the podcast off.
Well, it's hoping that it comes back. They've made official announcements and schedules.
It's complicated now.
Yeah.
Is the NBA. The NBA is set to resume playing at Disney.
Under the bubble.
They're going to play in a bubble system. Also, if anybody wants to talk about the bubble, just go watch Stephen A's remarks on First Take the other day about how
it was hilarious. Players being alone.
And, anyway, just go take a look. I won't even explain it. But the NBA is set to resume. A lot of people are excited because it's one of the first sports to come back. But Florida is being one of those states that's spiked back up in cases.
Hey man, people are protesting about bars,
and players have started to drop out already.
Yeah.
A lot of Brooklyn Nets players have come down with COVID.
Trevor Ariza and Davis Bertans, I think, were the first 2 officially.
For the Nets, DeAndre Jordan has dropped out because of COVID.
Yeah, Nick Claxton.
Spencer Dinwiddie says that he is going to play, but he is right now recovering from COVID. The Utah Jazz are still kind of struggling with their whole Rudy Gobert situation. Avery Bradley has dropped from the Lakers.
Was he the most recent? I think he was.
One of.
Yeah.
I think DeAndre Jordan was technically the most recent,
okay.
but Avery Bradley dropping from the Lakers. So now the Lakers are looking to sign Henny God.
J.R. Smith.
That's a fun one.
Yes, sir.
I think a lot of people are excited for that. Like you said, Davis Bertans also dropping out. So there's a lot of question marks. And then there's also a lot of players that don't want to play. Kyrie Irving is one of them. Dwight Howard has spoken out that he doesn't really want to play. Although neither of them have
honestly,
actually made decisions.
Yeah, I honestly think the majority wants to play.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there are a few voices that are coming out, like Kyrie Irving, is he the vice president of the NBPA, I think?
Yeah, he's like a vice president,
Yeah.
I believe.
There are a few big names that have come out and said, is playing really necessary?
Yeah.
But then there are other voices, like LeBron said, we should play. Even though this isn't a huge name, Austin Rivers said, we should play. Like, the money we make can contribute to, like, this country getting back and stuff.
Right. Yeah, and there's a variety of reasons why players want to come back or don't want to come back. Part of it is COVID. Part of it is the Black Lives Matter movement. So there's kind of not necessarily a divide. There's just like a small rift, I would call it, where players are a little unsure. But the NBA has allowed teams to sign these players that are kind of in a pool. Players like J.R. Smith. A lot of people are wondering if Jamal Crawford will get picked up by a team.
And some teams are back to working out. The Lakers, we know they've probably been working out and see. A lot of teams have probably been working out together in secret for a while.
Yeah, for the
and
most part.
I saw clips of 3 weeks ago. I saw a clip of Trae Young at a packed open run in Oklahoma.
I was gonna say
playing in a pro-am.
I've seen a lot of videos of people going up to LA Fitnesses and things like that. So I'm sure they've gotten their play in. I'm curious how it'll go. I'm just excited if basketball can come back. Now, I understand I'll be a little disappointed if, they have to stop it and, they can't end up playing. But right now, I'm excited because they have a bit of a plan. So they're going to play a little bit of a regular season. I believe it's 8 games to fight for that 8th spot. And going into it, depending on who's the 8th seed, they're going to play the 9th seed. For that play-in spot. If the 8th seed wins, it's like a technically a 3-game series, I believe, where if the 8th seed wins, they just go into the playoffs. They're going to be in the playoffs. But if the 9th seed plays, they got to play again. And then I think it's whoever wins the next game or something. It's a little bit interesting.
It's kind of like, it's like an AAU style kind of.
Yeah, but what I'm most excited for is that we could have a Zion versus Ja Morant play-in game to get into the playoffs.
I'm not sure if you feel this way, but the way they are literally forcing Zion into being the face of the NBA.
Yeah.
It's kind of making me uncomfortable. How much they are like forcing, you will love Zion and you will watch him he's a phenomenon, but some players deserve just as much credit.
Yeah, and they've come out with a little bit of the schedules. One of the fun ones is right when they come back, the first game in the remaining schedule, the Lakers play the Clippers right away.
Obvious, yeah.
So that's going to be a fun one. We expect to see that maybe in the Western Conference
Boston
Finals.
versus Milwaukee is one of the first ones too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So it'll be exciting. There's a lot coming. Still a lot of question marks up in the air. But right now we have it set that the NBA is going to come back. So I'm excited about that. Yeah. I just lost my train of thought.
It's just a weird situation, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird situation. Like, just the playing in a bubble in Orlando thing. Like, there are a lot of players that are like just trying to get used to that fact right there. I'm sure a lot of guys are like in and out on that fact alone, like being away from their family for a few months entirely. Like, it's going to be tough.
Yeah.
And I think like for some teams honestly just shouldn't even show up. Like Washington.
Yeah. The East.
You Davis Bertans was one of your best players.
The bottom teams of the East. Don't worry about it.
This is a home court advantage for Orlando technically. And they really don't even have a chance. So that's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah. I also feel bad for the Suns.
I forgot the Suns were in. I'm kind of happy for them.
They have like almost no chance. They literally have to win like 6 or 7 of their 8 games to even have a chance. Because the bottom of the West is so close, they do have a chance, but I don't know. I don't see it.
Seeing how these guys look after so long of not playing basketball is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Like, no preseason, just jumping straight into basketball. I'm sure, I bet it's going to be a lot like an open run kind of atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Where, and honestly, that might be an interesting, like, take on NBA basketball if they do that. Like, to where you can, like, hear, like, everything the players are saying to each other, hear trash talk.
That's what
that would be interesting.
They've been debating about doing that, and
I don't think they will because ESPN is, like, with Disney.
But to be fair, the way they did The Last Dance, I think that would be nice.
That is true. Yeah.
On ESPN, they do the edited version. On ESPN2, they do the unedited version. I think that would be great. And then they advertise that. And at the beginning, they say this is intended for mature audiences because everybody knows what those players are going to be saying on the court.
I just got an alert. The bubble will cost the NBA more than $150 million. Just a little alert that popped up. But
that's chumps change.
Yeah. But yeah, back to what you were saying.
But I just think that would be cool. I think that's something that, a lot of people would be interested in, because I would hate for them to just. The other thing that I heard is that they would throw in noise from NBA 2K, which is a video game for you people.
That's ridiculous.
Which would be weird.
I think
agree.
It would be absolutely ridiculous.
Just to pump in like fan noise and stuff like that.
Just do like having it be in an atmosphere of like these NBA teams are literally just running 5-on-5 against each other. That would be that'd be really refreshing, really. Because like they're not going to be playing in huge arenas.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to I think they're going to be playing in the Worldwide Sports Complex.
I believe so.
I've been there. Like it's like an AAU venue. It's a bunch of courts all over the place.
They do tournaments there.
Like like some like high school style seating. Like that atmosphere would be pretty cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. Let's see. What else did I want to talk about? Yeah, basically the East is pretty much set in stone with their standings.
Yeah.
The Wizards, like you said, almost have no chance. Sucks for them to be there.
Pelicans are trying to jump in. Memphis is trying to jump in.
The West is still interesting.
Yeah.
Portland is there. New Orleans is there. Sacramento, San Antonio, Phoenix. They're all fighting.
There's people that think Portland has a chance. I still think they don't.
I don't know.
Dame can't. Melo is not gonna.
They had such a bad season, like a bad regular season, that.
But
I still have hope. They're the team that I picked to be number 1 in the West this year.
And I didn't blame you for it at the time. We didn't know that all the moves they made over the offseason completely ruined their team chemistry.
Yeah.
They took away every veteran that got them to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
And Anthony Simons was their one reliable bench player. And then Melo had his good moments, had his good games, but this version of Melo isn't gonna push that team to a deep run. Mm-hmm. Dame isn't gonna do it by himself.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. Again, a lot of people want to see Zion versus Ja.
I'd like to see it too.
Things like that. I think one of the first games when they come back to is going to be New Orleans playing.
Yeah.
Again, pushing the Zion.
They're playing New Orleans a whole bunch of times. I'm pretty sure they've scheduled New Orleans on ESPN several times, I'm pretty sure, in the first few days.
Yeah, they're going to play the Jazz at the end of the month. It's the 30th of July on TNT.
Fun.
I can't imagine.
Fun times.
If you thought like beforehand you have a Jazz Pelicans game that was going to be like the crazy most watched thing of sports this year, it could be. It definitely could be, which would be insane.
If this happens, it's still supposed to happen. The ratings for that first game will be out of this world.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be fun. Hopefully, we'll start to get more news on things. Maybe we'll talk about baseball because they're actually interesting the way they're running things.
We're going to get into a little bit of college basketball, college football next week.
Yeah, we'll try to talk more.
Cover some Michigan
Maybe
stuff.
I'll bring up NASCAR because they're actually playing. It's going to be weird.
Yeah.
But we'll see you guys next time.
So much controversy. I can't think of anything to say because we're first time back. Good to be back.
Welcome.